The death is announced of Rhoda June Henry, MBE, MJF, also known as June Henry, Mummy June and Lion June of the Carnage St. George's, who resided at True Blue St. George. Left to cherish her memory are her children Elizabeth Henry Greenwich and Paul Henry, son-in-law Christopher Greenwich, daughter-in-law Donalyn Watson Henry, grandchildren Chandra Henry Courtney, Javal Greenwich, and Sigmund Courtney, great-grandson Dominic Courtney. She was mother to Marilyn and Rashida Cox, Golden and Rosemary Davis, Ezra Mitchell, and Brittany. Close friend Joan Balcom of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Nieces and nephews in the USA, Canada, and Guyana. Other relatives and friends including past and present members of the St. George's Lions Club, the members of the Mothers' Union of the Anglican Church, the directors of the Dorothy Hopkins Center, the matron and staff of the Grand Aunts Gardens Home for the Aged, neighbors and friends of the Coronage, H.A. Blair Street, and True Blue, the Stoll and Mortley families in Guyana and Canada, the Greenwich and Francis families of Pedmotor and in Canada, the Pear and Cox families of St. Paul's and in the USA, Canada, and the United Kingdom, the Courtney and Aline family of Harford Village, the Lawrence family of Westerhall, the Fort and Harris families of True Blue, and the priests and parishioners of the Anglican community. The funeral of the late Rhoda June Henry MBE MJF, also known as Joan Henry, Mummy Joan and Lion Joan, of the Carnage St. George's, who resided at True Blue St. George, will take place on Wednesday, August 21st at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the St. George's Anglican Church, Church Street, St. George's, and interment will be at the St. George's Centre Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Egbert Eon Hipolit, also known as Dr. Bird of Riversally St. Patrick, who resided in Lauriston, Carriacou, passed away on Saturday 27th July 2024 at the age of 65. He was the father of Adries Jules, Jason and Romeo Lendor, and Alvicia and Clarissa Pope, stepfather of many, grandfather of Shanta, Calic, Jalon, and Avery, great-grandfather of Kyrell, brother of Derek, Salma, Notley, Mike and Dale, also known as Joe in the USA, Kelly, also known as K-Man in England, Gorlan in Canada, Sonia, Janelle, Maggie, Morton, Stephen, also known as On the Base, Matthew, also known as Wilson, Cliff, also known as Peggy, Ruby, also known as Capai, Carl, also known as Sawcat, and Angus, also known as Ired in Grenada. Uncle of many, brother-in-law of 8, father-in-law of 5, nephew of 8. Many cousins, other relatives and close friends, including Mr. Rowley, Nurse Alexander, Lando, Stephen, Samuel Alexis, Mr. Adams, Angus, Miss Alexis, members of the Cancer Society in Carriacou, members of the Princess Royal Hospital, Carriacou, Dr. Belfon and staff of the St. George's General Hospital, the John family of Riversally and Hermitage St. Patrick, the Cornwall family of Montrose, the Wells family of Riversally, the Daniel family of Rosehill, the Grant, Adams, Bristol, Julian, Jules, Lendor, Pope and Noel families, Kendon and friends, Christine George and family, Mammy Joy and family, Girlie Francis and family, and friends and neighbours of Leicester, Carriacou, Riversally St. Patrick and surrounding areas. The funeral service for the late Egbert Eon Hipolit, also known as Dr. Bird, of Riversally St. Patrick, who resided in Lauriston, Carriacou, will take place on Thursday, August 22nd at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the Riversally Seventh-day Adventist Church, and interment will be at the Riversally Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Devon Francis, also known as South and Rasta, of Pomerose St. David, who resided at Hope St. Andrew, died on Thursday, 11th July 2024, at the age of 49. Left to mourn his mother, Mrs. Martina Francis, brothers Wayne and Dexter Francis, his partner, Selma MacLeod, aunts Cheryl Campbell and family, and Patsy Blackburn and family residing in Canada, uncles Matthew Blackburn and family residing in the USA, and James Blackburn and family residing in Grenada. 2 nieces and 2 nephews. Other relatives and friends: Jesse, Cheryl, Andre and family, Sherma Frank and family, Christina Regis, Jerry Charles and family, Neil and family, the busman and bagman on the St. David's route, and neighbours and friends of Pomrose and Laton St. David, Hope St. Andrew and surrounding areas. The funeral of the late Devon Francis, also known as South and Rasta, of Pomrose St. David, who resided at Hope St. Andrew, will take place on Friday 23rd August at 1:30 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the St. Joseph's R.C. Church, Pomrose St. David, followed by interment at the Pomrose Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. James Williams Pascal, also known as James Williams Belgrave and Big Snake of Calvany St. George, died on Sunday, August 4th, 2024, at the age of 96. Left to mourn his brothers Charles Lewis in the USA and Jonathan Lewis in Grenada, sister Valsina Ash in St. Vincent, sister-in-law Margaret Lewis, nieces and nephews Francis and Joseph Lawrence, Matthew Alexander, Wilbert Francis, Bertrand Ross, Jason Frederick, Maureen and Barbara Lewis, all in Grenada, Ralda Lewis in Canada, Glennis Waldron, Lane and Kenny Lewis in the USA, Sandra Lewis Martian, Gary Lewis, Raymond, Denise, Ordine and Wayne Ventor, and Trevor Shockness in the United Kingdom. Granduncle of many, including Sheldon and Suzanne Lawrence, Ed Watson and Donalyn Watson Henry. Great-granduncle of many. Uncle-in-law of Claudette Lawrence, Janice Spear Francis, Eunice Peters Alexander, and Odessa Ross in Grenada, Roy Lane in the USA, and Beryl Shockness in the UK. Many other relatives and friends, including Mrs. Norian Dawkins and family, Denise, Trevor and Eric Coutain and family, Judith Richards and family, the Belgrave families of Marion, Hopevale and Beaulieu, Reverend Silbert Prescott and the members of the Woburn Methodist Church, the social workers, either Charles, Shamela and Miss Julian, close neighbours Ivy Banfield, Mr. Gregory Bowen, the Gooding, Pascal and Lewis families, the management and staff, present and former workers of the Grenada Sugar Factory, Pastor Royston Gilbert, Mr. Terence Moore and Mr. Leonard Julian, Dr. Primus and staff of the male surgical ward of the General Hospital. The funeral service for the late James Williams Pascal, also known as James Williams Belgrave and Big Snake, of Calvany St. George, will take place on Monday, August 26th, commencing with tributes at 1 p.m. and service at 1:30 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the Garden of Remembrance Funeral Chapel, Cemetery Hill, St. George's, and interment will be at the Wilberforce Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Bob Kenneth Thomas, also known as Jaboski and Rush, of Tontine Terrace, St. George, died on Wednesday, July 31st, 2024, at the age of 67. Left to mourn are his brothers Dennis Collins in England, Anthony and Kenrick Thomas, sister Gloria Thomas, nephews Kwame Belfon, David McFarlane and Casey Thomas in the USA, nieces Kiyomi Thomas and Kendra Paul in the USA, aunt Olive Thomas in Canada, uncle Lincoln Bella Thomas, nephew-in-law Hansel Thomas, many other relatives and close friends, including the Thomas family of the Caronage, the Gatts, Bowen, Parks, Pascal and Worm families of Mongelou, June Stewart and family, Marcel Lewis and family, Leon Francis, Dexter and Albert Lawrence, Barry James in the USA, Dolores Wilson and family, the Griffith, Brown, Xavier and Pram families of Tontine, the Honourable Claudette Joseph, Mrs. Jennifer Japal Isaac, Cecil Buxo, Chester Humphrey and family, Roll Thomas of Tontine, Hilary Green, members of the Seamen and Waterfront Workers Union, other relatives and friends of Tontine Terrace, the Caronage, H. A. Blair Street and surrounding areas. The funeral service for the late Bob Kenneth Thomas, also known as Jaboski and Rush, of Tontine Terrace, St. George, will take place on Tuesday, 27th August at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the St. George's Anglican Church, Church Street, St. George's, and interment will be at the Wilberforce Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Emanuel Benedict John of Darbu, St. George, passed away on Tuesday, July 9th, 2024, at the age of 63. The funeral arrangements for the late Emanuel Benedict John of Darboux St. George will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Benedict Charles, also known as Wally and Charlo of Lamode St. George, a retired police officer, passed away on Tuesday, August 6, 2024, at the age of 62. The funeral arrangements for the late Benedict Charles, also known as Wally and Charlo, of Lamode St. George, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home.
When a loved one passes on, we all need the comfort, support, and guidance of a trusted friend. You can rely on Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. We provide a personalized professional service that exceeds all expectations. Our dedicated staff responds to your every need with the greatest detail, ensuring affordability with a variety of options. Our upgraded state-of-the-art facilities, spacious air-conditioned chapel with live internet streaming, a modern, environmentally safe crematorium, the only of its kind on island, private viewing spaces, large on-site repast center, a modern transportation fleet. Join our burial society today and make personalized arrangements for that final moment as you prepare to enter your loved one into eternal rest. Visit or call Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home and select a package that brings added comfort to the entire family. Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home and Burial Society, continuing a tradition of excellence.
Tanisha Samuel, also known as Titi, Tenny, and Chicken, of Trinidad, who resided at Fontenoy St. George, passed away on Wednesday, August 7th, 2024, at the age of 29. The funeral arrangements for the late Tanisha Samuel, also known as Titi, Tenny, and Chicken of Trinidad, who resided at Fontenoy St. George, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Joyce Rapier of Lansopine St. George passed away on Thursday, August 8th, 2024. The funeral arrangements for the late Joyce Rapier of Lansopine St. George will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Dora Nixon of Beaulieu St. George passed away on Friday, 2nd August 2024, at the age of 85. The funeral arrangements for the late Dora Nixon of Beaulieu St. George will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Bertrand Joseph Edwards, also known as Pluto of Grand Rose St. John, passed away on Saturday, 3rd August 2024, at the age of 59. The funeral arrangements for the late Bertrand Joseph Edwards, also known as Pluto, of Grand Rose St. John, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Barbara Mitchell, also known as Seydun of Florida, who resided at Grove Estate St. John, passed away on Wednesday, 24th July 2024, at the age of 67. The funeral arrangements for the late Barbara Mitchell, also known as Seydun of Florida, who resided at Grove Estate St. John, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Lin John of Seamoon St. Andrew passed away on Saturday, 27th July 2024, at the age of 90. The funeral arrangements for the late Lin John of Seamoon St. Andrew will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Wayne's Funeral Home. Lenox Labari, also known as Lux, of Beaulieu St. George and St. John Street St. George's, who resided in the USA, died on Monday, July 29, 2024, at the age of 64. The funeral arrangements for the late Lenox Labari, also known as Lux, of Beaulieu St. George and St. John Street St. George's, who resided in the USA, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. McGavin Brent Collins of Lasager St. David and Frequenty St. George passed away on Sunday, July 21st, 2024, at the age of 36. The funeral arrangements for the late McGavin Brent Collins of Lasager St. David and Frequenty St. George will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. In loving memory of Fitzroy Valentine Whitman, who departed this earth on August 17, 2022. In our hearts, we thought of you with love today, but that is nothing new. We thought about you yesterday, and days before that too. We think of you in silence. We often speak your name. Now all we have are memories, and your picture in a frame. Your memory is our keepsake, with which we'll never part. God has you in His keeping. We have you in our heart. From his wife and other relatives and friends. Funeral arrangements were entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home.
The management and staff of MTV extend deepest condolences to those of you whose loved ones have passed on. Thank you for watching.
I am Godwill James, an MD and a member of Gateway Assembly. Medically, death is regarded as an end or a cessation of life. Different groups view death in different perspectives. While some regard death as a continuation of life, others view it as an infeeble form of life. As a Christian, we may want to view death as a separation of the soul from the body. So, whichever way one may view death, I want to say that may the gentle soul of the faithful departed rest in the bosom of the Lord. Amen.